We are now going to start monetary policy. There's only three sections left for this year between now and June. So it's monetary policy and fiscal policy, both policies to affect demand, and then supply side policies. It's really cool for you all to be studying these three things during the biggest government intervention, governments across the world interventions in monetary and fiscal policy and supply side policies in how long? Maybe since the Second World War. And so this is what's been happening in the news. And now when we study this, it should make a lot more sense to you, the things that you might be reading about in the news. The reading that I've signed for now is just the first. I'm sorry, I got 3.4 here. It is 3.5. It is what is monetary policy, goals of monetary policy, and money creation, how money is created. So we'll cover those. And monetary policy came out of the need to control booms and busts. Essentially, in the Great Depression in the 1930s, there was a bust that just was never ending. And that's where economists started working with governments to say, what can the government do? People are looking to their elected officers to do something. And that's really was the birth of monetary policy. The book talks about good monetary policy, what's been happening in the US for the last 15 years, and really awful monetary policy, what's been happening in Venezuela for the last, 15 years or so. So let's start out with what is monetary policy. So monetary policy is really simple. Essentially, it's how the government uses the supply of money and interest rates to manage the economy. Draghi came from managing the European economy before he jumped in here. It's probably one of the reasons why he so easily got put in place in Italy, because he has a great expertise in monetary and fiscal policy in a time when governments are using these tools in a way that they never have before. So you should read about what is a central bank and central bank functions, and we'll get into these a lot more in class. The next one that I really think is important for you all to do is this section on the creation of money. I actually have a second reading that really explains this well. It came from Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. And he talks about sort of the invention of credit and how it changed the world. And credit also allows these multiplying factors where governments can inject money into the economy, and then they get a multiplying factor, which you'll learn about more in section 3.6. But you certainly want to read through this section too, so you can understand the concepts behind the multiplying factor.